What they do. I am Josh Jones, ESQ, and welcome to Beats, Crimes, Rhymes, and Crimes. I'm tripping. So happy to be here with y'all today. You know, I want you to go ahead, rep your city, let us know where you're watching from, which represent your clique. You know what I'm saying? Ali, I talked to him a little while ago. He's definitely going to be on here in a little bit. But as you know, we got some real stories that we're going to be definitely bringing to you today. And I can't wait. So we got that Young Thug update, the trial that just can't get right. But we're going to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But first, again, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. If it's your first time, thank you. Check us out. Let us know what you think. This is the #1 place to get law and hip hop information by the culture, for the culture. We want to make sure that you can hear about the stories that we care about. We're not worried about, you know what I'm saying, what's going on with Taylor Swift. We're not worried about what's going on in different genres, but we're here to talk about hip hop and hip hop culture, sports, entertainment, and how it applies to the law in your life. So, you know, this is the time right now. I just want you to go ahead and comment live if you're watching live. And if you're on the replay squad, we wish you would have been with us, but go ahead and just type in replay. We still thank you for taking the time to even check us out, right? So I'm going to go ahead and jump in. So we are talking about some stories that we talked about last week. I'm going to go ahead. Remember the Las Vegas court diver? Well, he was sentenced. He delayed his sentencing just by a little bit. And let me go ahead and share my screen with you so that we can jump straight into that story. All right. Let's go. All right. My bad, y'all. My bad. Let's go ahead and get this popping. So you already know. We saw last week. We're going to go ahead and watch it again.
I appreciate that, but I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court...
Whoa! My man getting them licks in. So yeah, man. So he was finally sentenced, and he got 19 to 48 months. So the judge was already alluding to the fact that she was not gonna take it easy on him. She was definitely gonna be sentencing him to some time. In the past, he had been given probation, given chance after chance, and I guess he kind of saw where that was going. So 19 to 48 months it is, and he's also gonna be facing charges for the incident that you just saw. So you know, they had him in there at this time, masked up, gloved up, and you know the internet's always gonna have jokes. So here we go. They got him comparing him to my man right here, some cartoon that I never saw, but you know they had him masked, gloves, shackled. Not gonna make that mistake again. So he's looking at 19 months. It's a little under 2 years to 48, which is 4, and probably gonna be facing some more time after that. So where we at? Next story. Kodak Black I don't know if we talked about it. Oh, we did talk about it. So Kodak Black was facing charges for cocaine. However, those charges have been changed because it was discovered that he was not in possession of cocaine. After all, it was oxycodone, and his attorney says that the officer purposely lied, knew that he didn't have cocaine, and they're asking for the charges to be dismissed. So the attorney says he has a prescription for oxy. We'll stay tuned. You know, Kodak's been going through a lot lately. I guess really all the time, but they said that the substance tested positive for cocaine at the scene through the field test, but when they did the more official test, it was not cocaine. So his lawyer came back and said, quote, this was not cocaine, and the officer was lying about his observations. We finally got the lab report. It's oxycodone that Kodak had a prescription for, not an illegal substance. Knowing that the officer substantially misrepresented his observations, the Broward State Attorney Office still filed charges. Unbelievable, and it will not be tolerated. The level of abuse of power by the arresting officer is disgusting. We will be seeking a new bond hearing and addressing these unethical practices by the police department. So, you know, they're not going to just lay down. Kodak's got good representation. They're going to fight the case and do what they can do. Tell us what you think. Do you think Kodak is going to end up going to jail? Do you think the charge is going to get dropped? Hearing what I'm hearing, I'd be curious to see what the state attorney's office is going to do, because it seems like there may have been some funny business going on with the police. If you didn't know exactly what happened, he was found sleeping behind the wheel of a car when the police pulled him over and alleged that he was trying to swallow what they thought was cocaine at the time. So hopefully he could tighten up, man, because this young dude got a promising career, has already beaten several charges, and when does your luck run out, right? So we got another guy we talk about all the time, transitioning, Blueface. Got another, not really another case, but if you remember, he was given probation last year for a 2022 shooting at a strip club. So one, we got the video from that. As a result of that shooting, the strip club sued him, and he didn't respond to the lawsuit. So they got what's called a default judgment, which is a judgment based on the fact that there was no defense to the lawsuit, and that was for around 13 million back in like October last year. So already between October and now, he owes over 14 million based on the interest that accrues on a judgment. So we do have the video from that time, from that shooting. We're gonna go ahead and watch. You can see right here, that's Blueface. There's no sound, but you can see he's walking back towards his car. So it seemed like a pretty quiet night. And you see this truck pull up. You see the red arrow, follow the arrow. If you can see, there's fire coming out of a gun. He held it up again, shot some more. Everybody cleared out. So for this shooting, he was already sentenced to 3 years of probation, and now he's still facing that time from from the shooting. He's facing that, excuse me, that judgment as a result of the shooting. So key lesson here: always make sure that if you get served with a lawsuit, that you find you a lawyer that can defend that lawsuit. At least if you're gonna go down fighting. It's, you know, this club sued them for lost income. They claim that they had to shut down and they lost some, you know, revenue and everything like that. So who knows what would have happened if they would have responded? It could have been 13 million still, could have been 30 million. It could have been 3 million, or it could have been zero. Who knows? We don't really know. So, key lesson: don't just sit back and not respond. All right. So now we got Dame Dash. Let me know in the chat if you remember Dame Dash from back in the Rockefeller days. You know, popping bottles, big pimping, spending cheese. Now he's asking the judge to reduce his child support from $3,000, saying he can only afford to pay $428 per month. All right. So if you don't know, he has a baby with Rachel Roy, who's famous for something. I'm not exactly sure what she does, but she's famous for something. And his child support right now is $3K, which for a celebrity, it's not too much. It's like on the low end from what you hear. But he's saying that because of COVID and some business things that just didn't go well for him, now he can only afford 2020. He says he's never really bounced back since COVID. Rachel Roy calls cap. She says that he's got business ventures. He's got, dividends from Rockefeller Records that he's still receiving, and he's hiding income from the court. So what's going to happen next? Well, first, what you think? You think he's broke? And not even just broke, but broke. You know what I'm saying? Or you think he's hiding his bread? Yeah, so what's going to end up happening is Rachel Roy is going to have to find some kind of way to prove that he is hiding money through some type of forensic accountant, investigator, private investigator, or some kind of way. Otherwise, he may get his child support reduced. He's showing that he's got a reduced income. So we'll see. We'll follow. Luckily, in another case involving Nia Long and Ime Udoka, the basketball coach for the Houston Rockets now, they worked out their child support arrangement. So now Nia Long has 95% time sharing custody over their son. Udoka has 5% basically because as a basketball coach, he's always on the road doing different stuff. Based on his $450,000 of income, the judge said that, and the amount of time he's going to spend with the child, the judge said that he could have been responsible for $56,000 a month in child support, but they were able to agree together to $32,000 a month. Nia Long will have the authority to make decisions when they don't agree on like important emergency things, medical things like that. And she says she's ready to move on. She learned a lot. As you probably know, when he was the coach of the Boston Celtics, he was fired basically for having sex with some of the ladies at the job. At least one lady at the job he was accused of having sex with, and he's obviously a really talented coach because he was able to get another head coaching job pretty fast. Never had to work as an assistant or do anything like that. So, luckily he'll be able to still make money and support his child. And then there's another story, crazy story, Howard University. So I don't know if you saw this, but on TikTok, there was a video of a group of content creators who broke into Howard in a building called the Benjamin E. Mays building, and it went viral. So the video showed the group walking around the building, surveying the various sectors and contents found and documenting the experience that they had. They sprayed a dry ice fire extinguisher with one small portion of the video showing them spraying on a statue. And it's wild to see. I mean, I'm going to play it. I want you to tell me what you think. So this is from HBCU Pulse. So, as you saw on the hallowed grounds of Howard University, these people were just going through and making a making a mess, playing with stuff. They broke into the building, which is already a crime, and they just have a lack of respect for the HBCU, lack of understanding for what it is, and are doing the most. So back to the video. I just want to go through the comments because a lot of people were feeling kind of some type of way about it. So as you can see here, are they getting arrested though? Because if it were black folk, they'd already have mug shots. Love HBCUs, but I'm going to be the devil's advocate for a minute. Why are historic artifacts regarding our history improperly stored? Howard, do y'all get all of this money in donations and y'all lack the basic necessities like security for these artifacts? This is a reminder of the urgent need to address the chronic underfunding threatening the preservation of invaluable records at black institutions. So yeah, I see two sides. I see some people saying Howard should have been doing more. I see some people saying how could these people be allowed to just come on the campus and desecrate it and not have any consequences other than going viral and probably making some bread. What do y'all think about what's going on? Shout out to the good doctor Travis Dion Brock. Yeah, do you think this is on Howard, or do you think these people should have more respect for the campus? I don't know. I don't see what I never seen them on George Washington's campus or Georgetown's campus, right across the town. So maybe they do this everywhere, but I haven't seen it. So I'm curious what y'all think about it. So why they shouldn't have been in there? Why aren't those artifacts stored somewhere safely at the whole building? That whole building could be a museum. So I don't know. Some people would say maybe that's victim blaming, but there could be some validity to it, right? Moving on. We're not gonna hold you if we don't have to hold you. So I'm curious what y'all think though. If you have an opinion, let me know. Uh, Another crazy story, man. So out in Jackson, Mississippi, they had 215 bodies that were found behind the jail. So this is a really wild story to hear about. But they were discovered buried in unmarked graves behind the state jail. So families of the deceased were left in the dark until pretty recently, sometime last month. Um, and some of the sites were only identified by a number and a metal rod, raising concerns about the lack of transparency and respect in handling the deceased. So they have attorneys. So the families have attorneys for some of these people, and this didn't come into light until very recently, uh, when the family of a man, Dexter Wade, found out that he was killed by the police. His family was not informed of the death, and he was buried without their knowledge. So now Ben Crump and some local activists are working on figuring out what's going on. So it was revealed that he had identification on him. The identification was given to the detective by the medical examiner, but the detective claimed to have called without receiving an answer and took no further action. So these people are just being disregarded all the way around the, any way you look at it. So we gonna patrol the police any chance we get. I'm on the independent civil panel for police oversight locally in Miami-Dade County, and this is one of the things that we want to make sure that police are acting in accordance with the powers that are given to them, and that they're not doing things to negatively impact the community, and definitely not treating people differently based on protected classes like race, sex, gender, etc. So I don't know. There's gonna be a lot more coming from this, I'm sure, because the families now are aware and they're demanding justice. So hate to hear that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even like to run over dead animals on the road, let alone burying people and not even telling their family. So hate to hear that. So Keefe D, y'all know who Keefe D is. So he says that he's charged with killing Tupac, or the murder of Tupac. He says that he's not guilty. But for a long time, Keefe D was doing interviews, telling stories about what happened, and all of that. But now he's saying that was all for entertainment purposes. He's been charged with the murder in Las Vegas. And last time we talked about Keefe, they were talking about whether or not he was going to get bail, whether, if he was, his lawyers didn't want to have to pay anything because he doesn't have money. And, he supposedly is sick and not a threat to the community. Well, Ali,
What's good, baby?
what they do. So we on here
Man,
right
what's
now,
that
man.
in?
Chilling. So we talking about Keefe D right now. So as you know, he said that he is not a real gangster.
Oh, now he admits he's not a real gangster.
Well, maybe he didn't say that. So let me say what he said. He said that he did not kill Pac. That was all for entertainment. So in that
Oh man,
in
hold
that
on. Everybody in
situation,
Crenshaw just heard you. Everybody in Crenshaw Boulevard just heard you say that. That was crazy. Say that again for the people.
hey man, why you trying to get me jammed up?
Yo, it's not you. Keefe D say what he didn't do, man.
So
Yo, everybody on
so
Crenshaw Boulevard just heard that. That was crazy.
so Keefe say that he was that was all entertainment.
Of course it was.
So I just want to give the people. I just want to let the people hear what he said in the book. He wrote a book about it.
Right.
You know about the book, right?
Yeah, and it's all entertainment.
So yeah, man. So I just want to read a little passage from the book. So he
All
so this
right.
is so him and the Southside Crips was on the way to a spot called the Carriage House that's on the strip.
Mm-hmm.
To partake in some festivities. This is after everything happened with Orlando
In
and
Vegas,
stuff.
right? In Vegas,
Yeah,
right?
this is the night of Pac getting shot in Vegas. So
Okay.
Orlando got stomped out. You know what I'm saying? Word it got back around. They were supposedly looking for Pac and them, but they didn't know, they couldn't find them. So
Right.
they're like, all right, we some players anyway. We just gonna go and keep having fun. We came out here to have fun. We ain't come out here for that. Basically, so they went to the liquor store. They was going to get some Dom, some Cristal, and some other stuff at the liquor barn. On their way back to the Carriage House, I'm gonna start reading. I'm gonna let you hear what he said. So our next destination was the Carriage House, a Las Vegas hotel where we had rented rooms. All right. So dang. Well, hold on. Our next destination was the Carriage House, a Las Vegas hotel where we had rented a few rooms as a kickback spot. On the way to the Carriage House, we stopped by the liquor barn to buy some bottles of Dom and Cristal. As we were driving to the liquor barn, it became evident that the guys in the van with me were worried that Suge would get some of his police hitmen to come back and try to kill us if we went after them. The police do hits for that nigga, one of them said. I remember thinking to myself, y'all shouldn't have jumped your punk asses in here if you scared. Y'all know what we came here to do. C-Ray, who was one of my top salesmen and later became the first one to start snitching on ends, was in the van with me along with his cousin Trey and BMF's Big Meech. All right. As we were loading up to leave the liquor barn, I took advantage of the chance to get away from these scary ends in the van. I jumped in the front passenger seat of the Cadillac because I knew the ends in the caddy wasn't with that BS. I pulled out the Glock that Zip had given me and tossed it in the back seat. Bubble Up did the driving. Baby Lane and Freaky were riding in the back. After our pit stop at the liquor barn, we continued toward the Carriage House. As we were driving, the two vehicles that were with us got caught at the light, but we kept rolling. A few blocks down, we were sitting at the light, and who the F did we see? The Death Row Caravan hit the corner with Pac hanging out the window of a black luxury BMW waving to his fans. People on the streets were screaming, Tupac, Tupac, we love you, Tupac. In unison, all of our heads turned. There them MFers go right there. If Pac had not been hanging out of the window, we would have never seen him. Buster you. Bubble Up busted a U-turn and hit the gutter lane on their asses. As they sat in traffic, we slowly rolled past the line of luxury cars they had in their caravan, looking into each one until we pulled up to the front vehicle and found who we was looking for. Like two rams locking horns, Suge and I looked each other dead in the eye. Our eyes locked. The terrified expression on Suge's face read, damn, them ends. No words exchanged. The time for talking had passed. The shit was about to go down. The next few seconds all happened so quickly. The shit was on. Tupac made an erratic move and began to reach down beneath his seat. It was the first and only time in my life that I could relate to the police command. Keep your hands where I can see them. Instead, Pac pulled out a strap, and that's when the fireworks started. One of my guys from the back seat grabbed the Glock and started busting back. The first shot skinned Suge in his head. I thought the MFer was dead. I heard stories that Suge supposedly used Tupac as a shield when the bullets started flying. But that's some BS. Suge was already wounded. He was the first one that got touched. As the rounds continued flying, I ducked down so that I wouldn't get hit. When the shooting stopped, we boned out, and a white Chrysler Sebring full of young ladies was following us. So
Okay,
that's
so
all.
the part that does sound the most legitimate is the white Chrysler Sebring. Like that, that right there is like the most consistent part of the story that I've heard out of this story that's been told many times by a lot of different people.
So yeah, so those are some, like, I think it was like some white girls or somebody just following, like they like, yo, you ain't about to shoot, you ain't about to shoot Pop, we about to get you. But then they got their car window shot out and they dipped.
Now, I think if I'm not, well, I don't know if it was some white chicks, was it? Or if it was like one of their homegirls. I would think it was like Pac's homegirl. Somebody was like behind
It
them.
might have been the homies. It might have been homies.
I think it was like Pac's homegirl, but it was definitely a chick for sure that was driving that car. If I'm not mistaken, I thought it was Pac's homegirl, and then they kind of like chased after the car for a while.
He
To
said it
no
was a
avail.
car. He said it was a car full of young ladies, and
Yeah.
he said their window quickly got shot out, so they stopped.
As anybody would.
Yeah. So he said the interesting thing was that none of them hard dudes that was with him try to follow
Well,
like
I
the
mean,
young ladies.
I don't really know a lot of people that run two bullets. You know, I'm just gonna put that out there. You know, you got to be a special individual to run towards gunfire. Shout out to the Marines, but Sean Craig, yeah. But you know, I don't know. It's real funny at the amount of backpedaling that Keefy D is doing right now with all of the front running that he was doing many moons and weeks ago.
Nah, for sure. So yeah, man. So I mean, this is a book, man. It wasn't a bestseller, but I mean, but dude got a whole book where he lays out so eloquently, and what have we been talking about with hip hop trials?
Why put it on record?
Yeah. So
Why?
So
And if you thought that like lyrics now going into trial, why would you think an actual literary piece
yeah.
would not
So
go on full display?
so I'm sure that this is going to be Exhibit A for the prosecution.
It better
Get,
be.
they're going to want to get this into evidence ASAP, along with all these interviews.
As they should.
You know what I'm saying? So we have precedent for lyrics. I'm not sure what we have for YouTube interviews and books, but and I'm not sure if he says anywhere in the book that this was fiction. I don't remember, but now all of a sudden it's fiction.
Now it's fiction.
So
Now it's fiction. He don't like jail that much anymore. I guess he doesn't like jail. He thought that shit was gonna be sweet when he was in there. He thought he was gonna be big homie. He's gonna get all the clout. You know what I'm saying? All the soups, all the spread.
yeah, nah, I don't see nowhere on here where it says. Well, let's see. Well,
And he's
every
not in
count.
prison right now fighting this, right? He's still in county, right?
Yeah, it's county. You don't go to prison until you're sentenced. So let's see. Why every
Exactly.
precaution
So
has
yeah.
been. Okay, Compton Street legend. Yeah, he doesn't have any type of disclaimer like this is, because like the dude Robert Kiyosaki, he said in Rich Dad Poor Dad, basically on the first page, if you read carefully, he says this whole story is cap.
Yeah, it's all fiction. It's
You know what I'm
it's based around
Yeah,
understanding. It's not
but
an actual true
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
but in this case, I don't see where Keefy D has stated in any way that this is fiction. So I don't know, man.
Seems kind of funny, man.
I
Seems
don't
kind of
know.
funny.
But I don't know if he was on. So he got a $750,000 bail, right?
Yeah.
They asked for no bail. He said he was old, he was sick, and he was not a threat. But the prosecution was like he's a high ranking member or former member of the South Side Crips, very violent street gang from Los Angeles, and it
And he
seems
live
like
in Vegas, right?
yeah, but it seemed like the judge was like, look, I'm
That's
gonna
a whole
I'm
different
gonna
state, Chief.
he like I'm gonna meet y'all somewhere in between.
In the middle.
We're
Yeah.
gonna set. We're gonna. Y'all don't want no bond. Um, as the prosecution, the defense wants to be able to walk out scot free on his own recognizance. Well, he's not going to do either of those things. He's going to have to pay, $750,000 or 10%. You know what I'm saying? Is what you get paid to your bail bondsman, and then he could walk out of here. And if he walks out, he's going to be on house arrest with an ankle monitor. They're going to be surveilling him. So,
Right.
uh,
He's not
so
going nowhere, man. And I don't even know if his house, you know what I'm saying, is worth that much in Vegas if he owns his house,
I
man.
don't know who owned it, but he need to holler at the big homie, man, who got his own problems. Diddy, man, come get me, man. They
He
got
gonna
me.
be like,
They
yo,
got me.
Keefe, you're gonna have to take that.
Take that. Take that.
Take that.
Hey,
I don't know, man. It's not looking good.
hey,
It seems
bro.
like my man is gonna be sitting down for a while.
Yeah, for the foreseeable future, he will be sitting down. I can't say that. But let's talk about Thug, man. So you missed it last week, but we talked about it last week. One of the
Yeah,
one of the one of the guys who was initially a part of the indictment. I think his name is Quantravius Jackson or something like that. But he goes
that's
by
a name.
Slug, right? And he claims that he was one of the members of the original gang. Um, what was it called? It was called oh man, I can't remember. Something about growing up on Cleveland though. Something about Cleveland. They changed it to
Cleveland.
YS. Yeah. Now it's gonna bother me.
You
Okay.
know, Cleveland Ave ain't nothing nice in the A. We know that.
Yeah. So
It's a
so
lot of
anyway.
real activity in that neighborhood.
Yeah. So anyway. He said they ended up changing the name of the gang to YSL. He said it was founded by him. He admitted that. Well, first of all, he's testifying as a condition of his plea. He took a plea. He's got like 10 years probation or something like that. And
My
as a
man
part of his
got right
plea,
up out of there.
it's the same kind of plea like Gunner, an Alfred. It's called an Alfred plea. So basically, like I don't want to take the case to trial. They got evidence, and I'm gonna plead out. I'm not gonna say I'm guilty, but basically I'm gonna say that they have enough evidence that it's possible that they could convict me, right?
Wow.
And he's not just straight snitching. He's answering the questions. He's giving the prosecution somewhat of a hard time. Like they got to ask him the questions a certain way, and the prosecution already finished. So now he's on cross examination by the defense. Um, and they're showing him all types of Instagram videos and do you remember this and talking about when they shot up the Lil Wayne van allegedly. Um, which at the
Like
time
that do you remember question is real loose to me, but go ahead.
Yeah, so he's not good with dates. He doesn't remember times and names, and so he's doing the minimum that he has to do to be in compliance with his deal. So he's not just straight snitching, like you know what I'm saying. He's not no Sammy the Bull, just like giving it up, right? But he's been on the stand, man. All of last week, all of this week, they ended up um ending early last week, and they just ended early today. Like 2 hours ago, the judge was like, "Y'all can all leave, and y'all don't need to come back till January 22nd."
Oh yeah, she going on vacation, man.
Today is the 11th. So now remember, it's the army dude. Remember,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, well, he going on vacation, man.
he claims that
Somebody's getting up out of here.
he claims he's got some MLK Day festivities that he
Yeah,
has to partake in, and
yeah, I
then some
believe it.
and some other stuff. And then he gave everybody like we want to
He's
make
an
sure
alpha.
everybody. I don't know if he is.
I
I
just
don't
said it
know.
because of MLK Day.
Yeah, but I don't know if he is. But he's like, but check it. I want everybody to stay safe. So if you haven't had your flu shot, you may want to consider getting the flu shot. Your COVID joint, all of that, because we don't need nobody to be missing time. So,
I can understand that.
but it's like, bruh, today is the 11th. You tell us to come back in 11 days. So the same dude, he goes by Slug. Slug got to come back in 11 days. He already been on the stand for 2 weeks. He got to come back in 11 days. So to come back and talk about this once again.
Hey man,
So
it don't hurt him none. He ain't got nothing to do in 11 days that's gonna prevent him from going to jail. For how
yeah,
many? For how long?
but I mean, I just want to get it over with, man. You got me snitching on my homies.
Guess what, man? Guess what? Stretch this shit out as long as it takes. As long as I ain't go to jail. That's
Yeah,
what he think. He don't
I
give a
guess,
damn about none of this.
man, but
And like
it's
you
whack.
said, he don't even feel like he's snitching. He's answering questions.
Yeah, it's whack though, man. Like, how mad would you be if you was on the jury for this
Nah,
case?
I'm pressured. I'm pressured, especially if it's like we said, the longest case that I've even known of, like, was the OJ case. Like, honestly, that felt like the longest trial that I've ever actually public trial that I've ever known of. And according to record, this has been longer.
Yeah, the OJ trial was 11 months, so we're already at this. I think this is makes 12 months this month for this.
Yeah, and has it been consistent? Like, I don't know if it's been as consistent as the OJ trial was
Well,
because that was a lot more high profile. I feel like that
yeah,
was every day, consistent every
well,
day.
it definitely hasn't been, but also it took 10 months just to pick the jury for this case. So 10 of
Right.
those
So
months,
I mean,
and then it was
right.
like more
That
time. Like they've only been questioning witnesses for like maybe 3 weeks. It's been like a
right.
really out of the 12 months, they've only really been questioning witnesses for like maybe like 3 or 4 weeks of that. So it's
Which is
crazy.
why I would
This is
say, like, the OJ case was like in court. We saw back and forth banter between lawyers, you know what I'm saying, witnesses, everybody for those 11 months.
Yeah, and then I mean, like, if you had something planned where you really legitimately are like a speaker at some MLK event and you gotta be there, like, why we ended the day at 11? Like, man, it was like 11 o'clock. He was like, all right, man, we're gonna holler at y'all in 2 weeks.
Because my man is going to Miami, man. It's getting cold in the A, bro. He got to
Hey,
get up out of there. He's coming down south. He's trying to figure out what's happening in
could be.
FLA, baby.
Yeah, we definitely have MLK events. I was at one this morning, so I was at an MLK breakfast. So he might have
Come
some
on,
stuff
man.
going on down here. I ain't mad.
It's MLK Day is big in Miami. People don't know, man. You gotta let them know, baby.
Yeah, so man, you made it just in time for what to Florida.
I love that. My favorite section of the show.
All right, man. So
You've been going in on us, man. We've been getting it out here in the West. So hit me
I
with
get
what the Florida.
we get it every week. So we got a whole segment once a week. So but y'all get it. So exploding toilet at a Dunkin' store in Florida left a customer filthy and injured.
This is too good to be true. This is a shitty situation, to say the least.
Hey man, that's to say the least. So Dunkin' Donuts might now stand for doo
Yo,
doo. But man,
yo.
so I'm just gonna put it up here for you, man. A customer has filed a negligence lawsuit against Dunkin', claiming he was injured by an exploding toilet at one of the coffee chain's locations in Central Florida. He's seeking more than 100,000 in a lawsuit filed on Wednesday in state court in Orlando, claiming he suffered severe and long-term injuries following the explosion of a toilet in the men's room of a Dunkin's location in Winter Park a year ago. After the explosion covered him in human feces, urine, and debris, he walked out of the men's room seeking help from workers and the store manager. An employee told him they were aware of the problem with the toilet since there had been previous incidents, without diving into further details about the explosion. So the
Not
attorney
diving
was
into further details.
yeah. So they contacted his attorney, who was tied up and couldn't answer questions until the following day. Um, the Duncan didn't have anything to say. The lawsuit says Kirasak suffered bodily injury and has required mental health care and counseling since the incident in January 2022. Now, I gotta find this complaint because I gotta see it, bro. I wish I would have
You
been.
know,
I didn't. My bad
it
for
feels
not
like
looking this up.
it feels like the key part of this story is Central Florida, Orlando. So yeah, I could see that all the way. For some
Hey,
reason, it's just nothing in Orlando shocks me anymore.
bro, I'm not trying to.
Like,
I don't know if I
I'm
ever
just
been in
saying.
I don't know if I ever been in the bathroom at a Dunkin' Donuts, but it doesn't sound like it's gonna be a clean place.
I guarantee you, I've never been in that shitty of a situation.
Hey, but my man was with the shits because he came out the bathroom like, yo, I, I need some help, yo.
not he's with the shits.
Yeah, we Here it is. So here's the complaint, man. We got to look at this a little bit more because this is crazy, bro.
Yeah, this is out of body right here,
Yeah.
man. I mean, first off, yeah, nah.
So all right. So Paul Kuroak versus HZO Donuts, DBA Dunkin' Donuts. So yeah, we already know all the basic stuff you got to get through. Um,
Yeah.
on or about January 6, 2022, plaintiff who was lawfully on the premises sustained severe and long-term injuries following the explosion of a toilet in the men's room owned by the defendant. The explosion resulted in the defendant and the interior of the room itself being covered with debris, including human feces and urine. Following the explosion, he
Oh
emerged
my
from the men's
God.
room, sought assistance from employees to clean himself as he remained covered. After emerging from the men's room, plaintiff was informed that they were aware of the problem. Plaintiff requires mental health care. So there's a negligence count, basically saying that they had a duty to maintain the premises, and they
Yeah, they did
didn't.
have a duty to maintain.
Hey, speaking of duty, they also had a duty to warn people about anything that could have been on the premises. I, I ain't gonna lie. If I would have been going into a bathroom where doo doo came out of the toilet regularly, I would have wanted to know that.
I
Tell
definitely, you know what? I've never seen shit come out the toilet. Like, I mean, going in is definitely how this goes.
yeah,
But
not an
go
explosion
ahead.
though. Maybe like
Yeah,
an overflowing kind of thing, like where like
how,
maybe,
bro?
but
What in the Dennis the Menace is going on? I mean, who put the cherry bomb in there, man?
yeah. So there are no photos, luckily,
Of course not.
but this is a real case, man. It was filed January 3rd. So, man, what the Florida is
This
going on at
is
Dunkin' Donuts, which is a Massachusetts corporation, it's not a Florida company. So,
no, it's not. It is definitely an East Coast up top company, man.
yeah,
Yo, I see most Dunkin' Donuts in New York, and for this not to even happen in New York City and or anywhere in the tri-state, yeah, that speaks volumes, man.
yeah, bro. So, we did have one story that I managed to skip over, but DJ Envy filed a motion to dismiss Tony the Closer's lawsuit against him, and the judge has denied that, which is kind of what you. I mean, you expect that. That's what you would expect to happen. So that's
Yo,
he
DJ
took
Envy, man. Yo,
he
his
took a shot.
arm. Yeah, I was last told that DJ Envy is getting Tommy John surgery next week, something like that, because he hurt his elbow from reaching. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So yeah, man. So just a recap for anybody that didn't hear everything, I'm just gonna run through these stories, man. If you have any thoughts on something that you didn't get a chance to talk about, Ali, feel free to chime in. But you know about the man who was about to get sentenced and then lunged his body at the judge.
Yeah,
So he finally got sentenced. He got 19 to 48 months. He's facing more
yeah.
time for the incident with the judge, and those are going to probably be enhanced charges. Kodak has some good news in his case, man. He was facing a cocaine charge. They determined that it wasn't coke; it was oxycodone. His attorney says he
Aha.
has. His attorney says he has a prescription for that, so they're trying to get those charges dismissed. The
Let's
boy
go, yet.
Blueface, the boy Blueface, has
Yeah, all
has
right.
a $13 million default judgment against him from last year in October. Already in 3.5 months, maybe a little less. That's gone from 13 million to 14 million. So it's just gonna keep growing.
Yeah, all right.
The lesson here: if you get sued, you gotta respond. Otherwise, you don't get a chance to have your say. Dame Dash claims that he ain't got bread, so he's asking for his $3,000 child support to be reduced to $428, saying he hasn't really had an opportunity to bounce back since COVID.
Gotta love Dave. Gotta love Dave.
It was some white TikTok kids that broke into a building at Howard, making TikToks, playing around with the the bell tower, going through the library, spraying fire extinguishers, just what I'm saying, getting their stuff off at Howard University. And people was mad about that. No charges have been filed.
Don't try that at Clark, baby. You ain't gonna
Yeah.
make it out. That shit is allowed in DC. You can do anything in DC. You can run in the Capitol building. It's Gucci. Do not bring that to the AUC, Chief. You
That's
ain't
a good
walking
point.
out. You ain't gonna walk down the strip the same. I guarantee you.
That's a good point.
Let's keep it rolling.
They found 215 bodies buried behind a jail in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yo, that's crazy. But slavery was a real thing, so that doesn't surprise me.
No, man, this is now. One of these dudes
Yeah, but
one of these dudes died last year.
wait, these new bodies?
Yeah. Come on, man.
Yo, that's crazy. What's going on in group? All right, well,
All right,
point
man.
is, don't go to jail.
Nah, let me share my screen. I got to show you
Next story.
this. Nah, I got to show you this. We'll spend a little time here because this is serious, man. You making a joke out of this, man. So
Nah, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, I really thought it was like from slavery. I thought they found old bones, but come to find out these is new bodies.
yeah, like you see these pictures right here. These are some of the people. Their families are fighting this. This is a white dude, black dude.
And
Jackson.
the problem with this is like, yo, when you go to jail, you sign your death certificate. So everybody knows it's a high chance that you're not gonna make it out. When you're sent to prison, you sign your death certificate.
I never heard that, but
from all my friends that went to prison, they all signed the death certificate the day they got there.
But listen, man. So 215 bodies were discovered buried in unmarked graves behind the state jail. Families of the deceased were left in the dark until last month. Some grave sites were only identified by a number and a metal rod, raising concerns about the lack of transparency and respect in handling the deceased. The families of the deceased attorneys are calling for a thorough investigation into the circumstances of these unmarked graves. The revelation began with Dexter Wade's death in March of 2023, in which a police officer fatally hit him. Shockingly, his family was not informed of his death, and he was buried without their knowledge. Activist Arthur Silky Slim Reed, working alongside attorney Ben Crump, sheds light on the distressing details. Wade's case took a disturbing turn when it was revealed that he had identification on him. This identification was given to the lead detective by the medical examiner. However, the detective claimed to have called without an answer and took no further action. Reed says the situation in Mississippi is deeply troubling, with 6 additional bodies now discovered in similar unmarked graves. Reed described the grim scene at the burial site where buzzards flew overhead. The bodies were placed in shadowed graves without embalming, leading to a disturbing stench that attracted scavengers. He emphasized the inhumanity of such treatment and calls for a more dignified handling of the deceased. The families affected were not notified, and many still believe their loved ones were missing. Reed emphasizes that this issue extends beyond race, as both black and white individuals are buried in the same manner. The lack of identification and the practice of assigning only numbers to the graves further compounded the anguish the families felt. Despite the alarming nature of the revelations, a humane resolution is needed. Reed Crump and attorney Dennis Week advocate for a federal investigation to uncover the truth. In Dexter Wade's case, numerous civil rights were violated. These included failing to notify the family and burying him without permission despite knowing his identity. Reed expresses deep concern about the actions taken by the authorities, considering an ongoing lawsuit involving the police. So this is serious, man. Burying 215 people. Like, could you imagine how you'll feel if one of your loved ones was in prison?
I mean, just disappeared? The thing is, it happens all the time to a lot of people. Let's just go ahead and put this out there. Like, jail is not a place where people receive justice. You don't really have rights as a prisoner, even though you're supposed to have human rights always, everywhere. But nah, that's not the case. And what's right ain't always what's real, and what's real ain't always what's right. But to whoever killed them people, I hope they get theirs. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy,
Yeah, so for sure, man. That's the end, bro. We done made it. I appreciate everybody who rocked with us. You know what I'm saying?
Come on. We back.
Let us know which stories really resonated with you. Let us know if there's any stories that you want to hear about. And if you do that, we'll cover those stories as well. If you have any questions about anything, you can leave a message at speakpipe.com/dopeblack lawyer. Holla at us on the DMs or at holla@dopebblacklawyer.com. Appreciate you rocking with us. We out.